What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com.
Here are my DFS picks for MLB Monday, May 16th.
These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button
And hit that bell icon.
so you don't miss our new videos.
In this video, I'm going to go over my top DFS picks for today's MLB slate.
And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made.
Okay guys, we have an 11-game slate tonight, so let's take a look at the pitcher position. I like Miles Mikolas pitching against the New York Mets. Miles Mikolas is giving up a .638 OPS versus lefties. He's facing 5 lefties here tonight, but the reason I like this pick is because the Mets have only hit 10 of his last 66 pitches. That's a 152 batting average. So Miles Mikolas is 10,200 FanDuel salary, 400 less on DraftKings, averaging 33 fantasy points per game on the season. He has an ERA of 1.49. Record is 3-1. Pitching an average of 91 pitches per game. So I like Miles Mikolas here versus the New York Mets. Now I also like Tony Gonzolen pitching against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Tony Gonzolen is giving up a .666 OPS versus lefties. He's facing 5 lefties tonight. And I like this pick because the Diamondbacks have only hit 12 of his last 73 pitches. That's a 164 batting average. He's only 8,700 FanDuel salary. He's 1,500 more on DraftKings. So I love that FanDuel price, averaging 27 fantasy points per game on the season. He has a ERA of 1.33. Record is 3-0, pitching an average of 74 pitches per game. So I like Tony Gonzolen here versus the Arizona Diamondbacks. Okay, let's take a look at the catcher first base position. I like Will Smith with a 16% batting advantage over a low salary pitcher, Madison Bumgarner. Will Smith batting a .774 OPS versus lefty pitchers. Madison Bumgarner pitching 23% worse to righties as he does lefties, giving up a .721 OPS versus righties. And Will Smith is 3 for 4, batting a 2.5 OPS versus Bumgarner. He has a single, a double, and a home run. So he's only 3,200 FanDuel salary, 1,400 more on DraftKings. He's averaging 10 fantasy points per game on the season, and he has a batting average of 262. He's got a nice little 5-game scoring log going on here. He hasn't put up a donut yet in the past 5 games, scoring between 3 and 28 fantasy points. So he's swinging the bat pretty well. So I like Will Smith here versus Madison Bumgarner. I also like Brandon Belt with a 10% batting advantage over a low salary pitcher, Antonio Senzatella. Brandon Belt is batting 9% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .879 OPS versus righties. Antonio Senzatella pitching his worst ball versus lefty batters, giving up a .884 OPS versus lefties. And I like this pick because Brandon Belt is 11 for 24. That's a .458 batting average and a 1.250 OPS versus Senzatella. He's 3,800 FanDuel salary, only 700 more on DraftKings, averaging 11 fantasy points per game on the season. He has a batting average of 253, and Vegas thinks that this is gonna be a high-scoring game. 11.5 runs scored in this game. That's their over/under. So I like Brandon Belt here versus Antonio Senzatella. Now, one of my home run picks of the day, my dong of the day, is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. with a 51% batting advantage over a low-salary pitcher, Chris Flexen. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is batting 31% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .978 OPS versus righties. Chris Flexen pitches his worst ball versus righty batters, 20% worse than his other pitches, giving up a .813 OPS versus righties. And Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is 3 for 4 with a 1.833 OPS versus Flexen. He's $3,600 FanDuel salary, $2,200 more on DraftKings, averaging 10 fantasy points per game on the season. He has a batting average of 280. So I like Vladimir Guerrero Jr. here versus Chris Flexen.
Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching.
If you want to enter the drawing for $25 PayPal,
all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won.
And we'll send you $25 PayPal.
So it's that easy, and we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you.
Okay, let's take a look at the second base position. I like Ty France with a 16% batting advantage over UC Kikuchi. Ty France batting a .828 OPS versus lefties. UC Kikuchi pitching 19% worse to righties as he does lefties, giving up a .772 OPS versus righties. Ty France is 1 for 2 with a 1.5 OPS versus Kikuchi. He's $3,500 FanDuel salary, only $400 more on DraftKings, averaging 11 fantasy points per game on the season. He has a batting average of .331. So I like Ty France here versus UC Kikuchi. Okay, let's take a look at the third base position. I like Rafael Devers with a 22% batting advantage over Jake Odorizzi. Rafael Devers is batting 10% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .923 OPS versus righties. Jake Odorizzi is pitching his worst ball versus lefty batters, 12% worse than his other pitches, giving up a .761 OPS versus lefties. But I like this pick because Rafael Devers is 5 for 10, batting a 1.645 OPS versus Odorizzi. So Rafael Devers is $3,900 FanDuel salary, $1,800 more on DraftKings, averaging 11 fantasy points per game on the season, and he's got a batting average of .324. Rafael Devers has scored 18.5, 31.4, 9.7, 9.2, and 41.4 fantasy points in the last 5 games. So he's been on fire. So I like Rafael Devers here versus Jake Odorizzi. I also like Hunter Dozier with a 24% batting advantage over Vince Vasquez. Hunter Dozier, he bats a .740 OPS versus righties. Vince Vasquez pitching his worst ball versus righty batters, giving up a .927 OPS versus righties. There's no at-bats versus Vasquez yet, and Hunter Dozier is $2,800 FanDuel salary, $1,500 more on DraftKings, averaging 9 fantasy points per game on the season. he has a batting average of 291. So I like Hunter Dozier here versus Vince Vasquez. Okay, let's take a look at the shooting guard, the shortstop position. Had basketball on my mind for a second. Okay, so at the shortstop position, I like Xander Bogaerts batting against Jake Odorizzi. Xander Bogaerts bats 6% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .882 OPS versus righties. Jake Odorizzi is giving up a .671 OPS versus righties. But I like this pick because Xander Bogaerts is 12 for 37, batting a .324 batting average and a .999 OPS versus Odorizzi. So Xander Bogaerts is $3,500 FanDuel salary, $1,300 more on DraftKings. He's averaging 10 fantasy points per game on the season. He has a batting average of .344. So I like Xander Bogaerts here versus Jake Odorizzi.
Real quick guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all of our DFS tools for all sports. You can try the Position Optimizer, where you can see the top players ranked for each position. And we added a new Player Trends tool, where you can see the top salary differences between FanDuel and DraftKings. It's a really good tool to help you pick out value for the site that you're playing on. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups.
Okay, now here's a value play. I like Elvis Andreas with a 56% batting advantage over Chris Archer. Elvis Andreas is batting 15% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .622 OPS versus righties. Chris Archer throwing 41% worse to righties as he does lefties, giving up a .820 OPS versus righties. And I like this pick because Elvis Andreas is 9 for 18, batting .500 with a 1.404 OPS versus Archer. And he's only $2,300 FanDuel salary, same price on DraftKings. Now he's only averaging 6 fantasy points per game on the season, and his batting average is .219, but his salary is super low, and he's got a fantastic matchup here tonight. So I like Elvis Andreas as a value play here versus Chris Archer. Okay, moving on to the outfield position. A couple of studs that I like: Aaron Judge, Mike Trout, even Yordan Alvarez. But another stud that I like here, and he's a home run hitter of mine, is Giancarlo Stanton with a 37% batting advantage over a low salary pitcher, Kyle Bradish. Giancarlo Stanton is batting 15% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .891 OPS versus righties. Kyle Bradish pitching his worst ball versus righty batters, 22% worse than his pitch to lefties, giving up a .879 OPS versus righties. Giancarlo Stanton is $4,000 FanDuel salary, $1,100 more on DraftKings, averaging 12 fantasy points per game on the season. He has a batting average of .290. So I like Giancarlo Stanton here versus Kyle Bradish. Now I also like Mookie Betts. I think he's in a good spot here versus Madison Bumgarner. But if you're looking to save a little bit of salary here, take a look at Julio Rodriguez with a 55% batting advantage over the low salary pitcher UC Kikuchi. Julio Rodriguez batting 36% better versus lefty pitchers, batting a .947 OPS versus lefties. UC Kikuchi giving up a .772 OPS versus righties. Now there's no at-bats versus Kikuchi yet, but Julio Rodriguez is only $3,000 FanDuel salary and only 200 more on DraftKings, averaging 10 fantasy points per game on the season. He has a batting average of .264, so I like Julio Rodriguez here versus Yusei Kikuchi. Now another guy that I like if you want to save some salary is Michael Brantley with a 45% batting advantage over Garrett Whitlock. Michael Brantley batting 33% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .875 OPS versus righties. Garrett Whitlock pitching his worst ball versus lefty batters, giving up a .646 OPS versus lefties. Michael Brantley is 2 for 3 with a 1.334 OPS versus Whitlock. He's $2,800 FanDuel salary, 1,000 more on DraftKings, averaging 9 fantasy points per game on the season. He has a batting average of .274. So I like Michael Brantley here versus Garrett Whitlock. And another value play on both sites is Jonathan Dazza with a 38% batting advantage over Alex Wood. Jonathan Dazza batting 9% better versus lefty pitchers, batting a .823 OPS versus lefties. Alex Wood pitching his worst ball versus righty batters, 29% worse than his other pitches, giving up a .800 OPS versus righties. Jonathan Dazza is 3 for 9 here versus Wood, a .77 OPS, 2 singles and a double. But I like this pick because he's only $2,700 FanDuel salary, and he's the same price on DraftKings, so I love that DraftKings price. Now, he's only averaging 6 fantasy points per game on the season, but take a look at his last 5 games. Scored 19, 9, 13, 3, and 21 fantasy points, and he's got a batting average of .383. So I like Jonathan Dazza here versus Alex Wood.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this MLB slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.